What's going on, guys? Good morning. It's Saturday. Shitty weather here in Florida today. Overcast, crazy. I don't know if it's going to rain. I'm going to try to attempt this. Hopefully I could get it installed in a few hours. Just a shitty day. I mean, I feel like shit. I woke up at 8 o'clock and I don't know, just a weird day. But anyway, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to try to take you step by step what I'm going to do. This is the basic delete kit that I have on the 7.3 now. What I'm going to do first, remove my white pipe, get my mechanical pump out, which is right there. Remove these hoses and my filter bracket here. This filter bracket's going to get reused because this is an add-on kit. That bracket's going underneath with the other bracket. I'm going to run them in line with my electrical pump. My wiring harness is going to go where the bracket is there now. So I'm going to get started here. I'm just going to check in from time to time and show you. And hopefully, you know, this will be a great reference video for you if you're doing the add-on kit after the delete kit. So this is where I'm at. I got my pump out. I did have to remove my crossover hose. If you are running one on your 7.3, you're going to have to remove that to get the wrench in there to get the banjo nut out. All right. So I'm going to be installing my plug that comes in the kit. That's going to go down in a hole there. After I get done installing that, I'll be working on my banjo fitting, getting that plumbed in, and I will continue the video. Just going to get that nasty crap cleaned out. There you go. Get all those goodies out of there, get that, and we'll go from there. All right, so I got my banjo fitting installed. This is very important part of the video. You know, I'm going to go step by step here. Underneath my banjo nut there is my plug that I installed. Now you want to install that plug, push it in there, and tighten it till you start seeing it move up, vertical, come out of your engine block. When you start seeing just a tad bit of movement that it wants to come out, that's where you want it to be. And the reason why is because your banjo fitting sits on top of it. Now, I have ran my other flatbed truck with this setup for months now without any issues. And I have tried to figure out, when we first came out with the kit, I was trying to figure out how to stabilize this actual nut, this banjo fitting, because hard lines are coming into it. Well, it doesn't need to. You don't need to put any zip ties. You don't need to build a bridge across from here to here to hold it in place. It sits on top of that nut. Now, if you put the plug in, and like I said, tighten it till you start to see it come out, that's where you want it to be, in that position. Put your banjo fitting on. Also, be careful when you're installing your banjo fitting. Make sure you're using 2 wrenches, that you're holding the fitting in place and you're tightening. Take your time, because you don't want to put too much stress on the hard lines. Now, once it's installed, you're going to pick it up. And you see, it just has just enough downforce where it rides on that plug. Now, also, you know, if you don't want metal-to-metal contact, I do put a little cap on top of that screw there, on top of the thread, so there's not metal-to-metal contact. But that's all you have to do. You don't have to build no fancy bridges, nothing to hold it. It sits on top of that. It just has just enough down pressure there. As you could see, it's perfect. It rides on there perfectly. Haven't had an issue. And if I did have an issue, of course, I would report it to Ken and we would work something out and redesign something else. But no issues at all. It's perfect, looks good. Looks clean. All right, so next, I think I'm going to jump on my wiring harness so I get everything done here underneath the hood, and then start working underneath the truck. So here's a little thing to show you what I use to put on top of that plug there, on top of the threads where the banjo fitting sits on. You know, if you don't want it to rub metal to metal, you can... This is just a little cap that the hydraulic fittings, you know, they put in so no debris gets in them. But you could use anything. You could use a piece of rubber, whatever you want to use. But I put on there that just sits on top of the threads, and then the banjo fitting sits on top. I'm checking in here. Got my filter removed in the housing. Got my timer set up there. Got all my wires ran underneath the truck. Everything is done under here. All I have to do is put the white pipe back on. I'm done there. What I'm going to be working on now is underneath the truck. Trying to find a good place where I can mount my filter brackets, where I can get to my filters easily, so it's not going to be an inconvenience if I have to change them or drain the water out. Roughly, I'm about 2.5 hours in now. This job, if you take your time, you're looking at about 4 hours. If you're quick, you may be able to do it in less, but I rather take my time and check everything over and make sure everything was done properly. So 4 hours is a good time frame for this. Maybe going on, checking in for the last time. I am running a little behind, is because I did find a little oil leak on one of my hoses. So I got caught up in that for a little good while. But this is my setup. This is how I mounted it here. All right, so I have not started it. This is going to be my first time starting the truck. So let's do it. See what happens. All right, there you go. All right, so there you go. Everything's running. Gonna check the fuel pressure. All right, so there you go. So now I'm gonna go over everything, make sure everything is tight, make sure I have no fuel leaks, and get the hell out of these diesel-soaked clothes. But thank you for watching. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. See ya.